To the street where the heartbeats beating, to the peaceful revolution and the perfect waves surround me. Tell me about the ocean moving in slow motion. I see it glitter in the sun, then it's freezing in the moonlight. Never look back, never look back, never look away. Comes and goes, you know I'll still be waiting. All the things she said.
Today I am exploring the Death Valley Buttes. I think it's those two peaks right there, then there's a smaller peak you can't see in the behind them. In the distance are the Stovepipe Wells sand dunes, kind of hard to see in the photo or the video here, and there's Tucky Mountain. But right off the main road, ample parking right on the shoulder, and up there is Daylight Pass area. And just kind of taking a little easy today. Is my first day back in Death Valley, and you know, first day I try to go a little easier, although this doesn't look terribly easy. Although I hear it's mostly class 2, maybe a class 3 section, but we'll just go up there and see what kind of fun I can find. Well, it's always nice to find an arrow pointing the direction to the used trail, which I saw before I saw the arrow going right up here, right on the east end of the buttes. So I found my path, or at least the start of one. Top of this little saddle and getting a really nice view of the mountains to the north. I think it's the Grapevine Mountains. And coming into view here is Corkscrew Peak. A really fun hike I did a few years ago in June of all times of year. Had a little cold spell. Class 2, really nice. Great views up top. One of these days I'll go back and hit Little Corkscrew right below it. Well, this little uphill section is getting my heart pumping. It's still all on a trail, or used trail. Surprisingly stable coming up, but I might put on my microspikes going down. And I'm starting to warm up, so probably gonna shed here pretty soon. I can see my car in the distance. Alright, well, I think I'm almost to the top of one of the buttes. Now right there, and I see a path. Not sure if it goes all the way to the top. Looks a little steep up there, but I will find out soon enough. Pretty hike so far. Pretty easy. It's a little dusty in Death Valley today. It's straight ahead.
inside and out, and love strange, so real in the dark. Think of the tender things that we were working on. Slow change may pull us
I made it to the top of one of the buttes. I think that's the main one right there in the upper right. That's probably gonna be the more challenging one. Looks like I gotta go down before I go up. So, roller coaster time. So far, pretty good. A little steep at points, a little loose, but there's trail so far the whole way. A couple different ways up to the top of this one that I probably should have taken a different approach, but that's okay. I can go way down. That I think that's the unofficial trail. I came up over there, but there's a little kind of a tricky part down there that maybe kind of take a different line.
rain keeps falling down, 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 down. Hey, hey, hey,
Coming down this little slope was a lot more harrowing than I thought it was going to be, because it's not really steep, but it's steep enough, and it's got firm rock underneath it with lots of loose, smaller rocks on top of it. So you just got to be careful. I mean, going up will be easy, but coming down, I probably should have put my micro spikes on. I just didn't look very graceful doing it, but that's okay. I'm used to that. I think I'm past the hard part, at least till I get down to the saddle, or before I start the uphill. But yeah, definitely gonna wear micro spikes on the way back. Okay, this has been a little more harrowing than I thought. You know, coming down that butte was steep and loose. Then came over on the left side over here. Also pretty steep at parts and loose, but more challenging because of the contour always sloping off to the right. Getting into some class 2 action here. Nothing too hard, just navigation kind of challenging. Might have to put my poles up and put my climbing gloves on. That's where I came from. It's definitely spicy on the final ridge. All class 2, just like right there in the middle. It's just daunting because there's exposure and it's real narrow, but there's there's not really any good handholds right there. You just kind of have to balance and do it. You can lean against a rock though. That chute goes down pretty steep and looks mighty loose. There's another use trail here, but that just looks nasty. And over there, I didn't like that, so I'll probably go back the same way. Right back there. But it's been pretty stable. That's the crux right there. I'm right near the top. Should be easy from here. Coming up was a little challenging, but I think I figured out how to get down. At least I hope I did. And that's the top. So hopefully I'm almost there, and got a few spots of concern on the way down, but I think I'm okay. What other choice do I have? Some nice cactus there.
You turned me on. You lit me up like the sweetest cup I share with you. You lit me up. Don't you ever stop. I'm here with you.
Made it to the top of the highest butte. I'm not sure what it's called. Death Valley Butte. proper. And there's the reference marker. It doesn't actually say anything on it peak-wise name, but, or peak name-wise. And could go a little further, but I don't think I'm going to. I might just go that little vista point, and I think that's the West Death Valley Butte down there, which you pretty much have to go all the way down to even try to go back up it. And I haven't seen any GPX points that go that way, so I probably will not do that. Go back the way I came, more than likely, unless I find a gully that looks good. Great shot of Corkscrew from here. A little corkscrew right beneath it. Daylight Pass in the distance. This one was a little harder than I thought it was going to be, but it only took me about 2.5 hours to get up here. A little longer than I thought, but this ridgeline's been fun. Some tedious spots. A few little spots I'm a little concerned about on the way back, but should be okay. Looking down onto Death Valley Butte, west one. I go up that little notch right there, and then straight shot to the top. It's a long ways to go across open desert though, from the road down there. Probably a couple miles at least.
You take me home where the magic's from, and I will. What you gonna do when things go wrong? What you gonna do when it all cracks up? What you gonna do when your love burns down? What you gonna do when the flames go up? Who's gonna come and turn the tides? What's it gonna take to make a dream survive? Who's gonna protect the kind of storm aside? Don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye. In the final seconds, who's gonna save that?
I just came down the crux, and it was a lot easier coming down. I actually just down climbed with my micro spikes on, came up over the top, same way I went up, and just came down here. And I was facing down the whole way though, which I didn't think I was going to do on the way down. But basically, when you come up, I'm trying to remember, I have right foot there, left foot here, but watch out because that rock does move. And then I was able to left foot there, right foot there, and then I think I put my left foot either up here or up there, and it was pretty easy actually. Going up was I thought it was gonna be easier. Coming down was actually easier, and once you get on that little ridge line, you're fine. But coming down, it's actually pretty fun and not too bad. This is the start of the crux. Very flat, easy right here. But basically, just kind of go up and you go around there, and then you shoot right up that thing right there in the middle. And it's a little steep and loose, but you know, it's not bad going up. Coming down, I use my micro spikes. But that's really the hardest part. Scariest part still yet to come, just because of the exposure, but it's not hard. It's just kind of mentally daunting, especially when you got your poles on your back and they're kind of limiting your movement a little bit. But yeah, this has actually been a lot easier than I thought it was going to be coming down. So far so good. So here's the other kind of scary part, just because of the exposure on the left side. I mean, it's a long ways down, and it's pretty much 90-degree drop off. So you just gotta, be careful. I'm gonna go slow. I might actually step down a little bit. Looks like there's a ledge there. It'll give me a good footing. It didn't feel that way coming the other direction. Should I take off the micro spikes or not? After this, should be home free. Although I am gonna leave the micro spikes on. All right, it's time for it. Okay, that was actually easier coming back this way because there's some handholds right there in the center that I could get my hands on. And I didn't even have to go down that lower ledge. I just came right across with my micro spikes on. It looks a lot harder than it is. It's just a little loose, but not too bad. A little steep, but not too bad. Firm enough to get up. You pretty much go right up the middle there, and then the trail continues on. This is actually really good practice for, class 2. Mostly stable, some loose spots, but, put your poles up, put on the old climbing gloves. Micro spikes are helping, and it's actually a lot of fun. You know, just go right up this ridge. It's the way I came up, the way I came down, and almost down to flattish area where I can get the poles back out. Probably just got a little bit more, but you can see there's trail pretty much the whole way. You know, you gotta look for it sometimes, but it's there. And right in the middle is the kind of weird part. Right there. It's kind of strange. It's kind of, you know, on a slant and loose and steep. So I may just go up and over because it looks like the trail meets back up. I don't know. I could be looking for trouble there, and then I go right back up that butte and then back down to the car, which I can see in the distance right in the center. Accidentally lied to you a bit. I didn't stay up high. About halfway down, I ended up cutting down to the trail. Probably would have been okay on the ridge. It just would have been more ups and downs, a little more climbing, but it's not too bad here. It's just slanted. So you're like constantly looking down going, don't fall. Because if you fall, you're gonna go down a ways. But I'm almost to the saddle. It's about another 100 feet and I get to start that fun up. But going up with microspikes is gonna be a lot easier than coming down without them on, which is what I did stupidly. So yeah, when you come down the first butte, if you have them, microspikes are very helpful right there. It's not technical, it's just really steep and loose and hard packed. All right, coming down from the first butte, it's a lot sketchier than I remember going up. I may have gone up a different way, but coming down, just kind of, you know, start up there, meander down. It's just really steep and really loose. Microspikes really help. Almost back to the car and got some great light right now. Nice cactus. Not sure what kind this is, but it looks really pretty in the sunlight. Very vibrant, kind of like a yellowish green. It's always cool coming across cactus. Looking back up, there are the buttes. Went right along the ridge line all the way to the end. The one that's lower is actually the higher one, but been a good hike. I highly recommend it. Microspikes, definitely. I wore them the whole time back and probably should have worn them halfway up. But come back here. If it's not your first time, come back here. If it is your first time, definitely check it out. It's a really fun hike. I highly recommend it. Until next time.